Humans are constantly searching for ways to express themselves and tell their own stories. Apart from the standard needs of air, water, food, shelter, and human connection, we also want to understand our emotions and ideas as we go through life. We want a code of some kind to translate our unspoken feelings and states of being, like a map, key, or a set of symbols that can demystify the human experience. Why things impact us, why we have certain habits, or how we can be better people. I think it's normal for you to be the number one obsession in your life in this way. It's a deeply rooted human desire to comprehend and process what we're feeling. This is definitely how I feel, and most friends and peers have mentioned this desire at some point during our many conversations about life, especially my right brain focused friends who are in the habit of injecting feelings and experiences into exterior mediums. This ongoing fascination with the inner self might explain why a chance to capture your essence in a photo is so intriguing. Imagine a snapshot that reveals your emotional and mental state, as well as unconscious energies and influences from the past and the future. How exciting is that? I thought it was pretty damn exciting when I first came across the idea a few years ago. Whether or not you believe in its validity, color aura photography has become exponentially popular as a way to capture a unique snapshot of these things. It's really gone from an obscure experience you might stumble across in Chinatown to a super trendy thing to discuss over brunch. A quick search on Instagram reveals that there are over 22,000 posts tagged with aura photography. I'm no expert, but I'm into this stuff. So I wanted to make a video that not only shares my own experience with having my aura photographed, but gives an overview of what color aura photography actually is. I wanted to get my color aura photographed for two reasons. One, it was just novel and I'd never done it before. I've also been shying away from having my photo taken recently because I'm not feeling super confident these days. So this would be a step in the direction of accepting myself and honoring this moment in my life. Number two, I wanted to capture myself at the beginning of 2020 and then again at the end. I hoped that the colors in the first photograph would show me a sense of what needs work in terms of my inner self and also what I'm projecting to the world. So what is color aura photography and where did it all begin? On their site, Auragraphic explains color aura photography as an exploration of energy, color, and human consciousness through a specialized photographic process that reads the human energy field and translates it into color on special analog film. Essentially, it's the translation of physical readings taken through the fingertips into radiant waves of color around the body captured on film. This kind of photography has documented origins in the Victorian era, where advancements in photography were coinciding with a North American and European obsession with the paranormal. German Dr. Franz Anton Mesmer theorized in the 18th century that a natural energy flowed through all animated and inanimate objects. Of course, he wasn't the first person to think such a thing, but his theories fed into the idea that someone's energy could be traced and documented and photographed. One notable ancestor of color aura photography is the work of Austrian chemist Karl Reichenbach. He was shooting objects in the dark in order to attempt to capture a visual representation of their energy. There were many others that explored this kind of photography, and as the X-ray and other innovations in radiographic imaging came out, the case for being able to capture a person's energy field just kept getting stronger. What we know as aura photography today was first formally developed in Russia with the birth of electrography. You may have seen the famous photographs of fingertips that are surrounded by a halo of light. They adequately capture what this stuff is all about. Fast forward to the 80s, an electrical engineer named Coggins makes and markets the AuraCam 3000 and then later the AuraCam 6000. These cameras pack a century of photographic experimentation into one neat little machine, which connects an instant film camera to two charged metal plates with biofeedback sensors, allowing us to capture and record readings in one sitting. The result is the fancy-looking snapshots of intriguing, colorful auras circling the subject that we're all so obsessed with right now. Anyway, here's how my experience went. I was photographed by a company called Auragraphic. The studio itself is sort of a DIY setup in a small room with a cozy little couch and a place to wait. When it's time to be photographed, you sit on a chair in front of this unique looking camera and place your hands on top of two sensitized photographic plates. These sensors have multiple points for your fingers to press into. It's believed that the hands are the region from which your aura emanates. Your arms are covered up to the elbow with a piece of fabric and you look into the camera. The hand sensors are supposed to read temperature, humidity, and static electricity, among other things. This information is then projected into a radiant, colorful field around the body. The colors then shown are said to represent your spiritual and/or auric state. Once the photo's taken, you wait on the couch for a few minutes while your photo develops, and I didn't expect to be so nervous or excited during this part, but I really was. The photo's still wet actually when you get it, so you have to let it dry for about 30 minutes. And then finally, before you leave, you're given your reading. Some say this aura can reflect everything from your mood to various health conditions, but Halo Auragraphic keeps the readings focused on non-physical qualities and sort of mental state. You'll want to pay attention to this part in the reading when you're getting your interpretation because you're not allowed to record it, at least with this particular company, and there's a lot of information. But you're given a card to take home that will remind you what the different colors mean, and you can definitely decode it yourself and translate it into your own reading, since you know yourself better than anyone. For example, each color means about 10 different things. They're correlated, but different things. So you could pick and choose what feels the most relevant to you at this time and develop sort of a well-rounded idea of your reading. This was my photo. It's very colorful. The photographer commented on the spectrum of colors was almost the full array of colors that could show up. This is the company. They're in LA and in New York. Somewhere over here I also have this guy to remind me what this is all about. So basically the deal is the top colors, which is where I have the most variation in color, is the headspace energy. This indicates expressiveness, social activity, spiritual growth, desire for connection, and also some of your outgoing personality. So I'd say this is a pretty good summary of what's happening in your mind. On the left side is the receptive side of the body. So it represents energy that's moving toward you and how you view your own energy and also your future, because it's what's coming toward you, which is fascinating because on the right side of your body, that's really the expressive side. This is what other people are getting from you. So it represents energy leaving your body, how others see you, physical changes happening, as well as memories and the past. So mine are pretty different, and I guess they are for most people. So in my headspace, I have a pretty full spectrum, including turquoise, lavender, a little bit of violet and magenta, as well as yellow and green. So basically the breakdown, and there's tons of information here, but the ones that she pulled out during our session were a sense of balance and stability, an evolved soul, a natural leader or teacher, someone with a positive outlook, and then the pink is like romantic, creative, loyal. These are very Libra qualities, I think, the pink and the turquoise, which makes sense. Someone who keeps the peace, somebody who's diplomatic, who's spiritually aware. And then going down a little, she also said there's definitely above the pink with some magenta, which is someone who's creative, free-spirited, a little bit eccentric, likes to be the center of attention. So I think these are more Libra qualities, actually. Ability to accomplish goals, which is encouraging. And then there's a little bit of the green and yellow mixed together, so energetic, optimistic, and optimism is definitely a word I have been identifying with more. Fun-loving, sensitive, again, free-spirited, creative, all these things. So these make a lot of sense to me. And then below that, there's a hint of green, which is to do with teaching, healing, an entrepreneurial spirit, empowering to others, etc. And green is also perfectionist and other things that I don't identify with, which is interesting. So a hint of green to me means that entrepreneurial side. And then below that, on my left side, the lots of like magenta and pink and also white and crystal they call it, has to do with creativity, free-spiritedness, again, being eccentric, innovative, unique, strong-willed. The crystal is about healing and spirituality and being adaptive. So that's interesting to me that that's kind of growing, because I'm definitely into this more like meditative, spiritual vibe this year than I've ever been. On my right in the photo and your left, the indigo and the blue. It's about what other people see. So this is the most interesting thing to me because I have felt for a long time that I have so much going on internally that others don't get to experience because I've been in this sort of hermit mode. And also I've been healing from a lot of life stuff that hasn't allowed me to really express myself fully, not to everyone at least. In the darker side of the photo, which is mostly indigo actually, it has to do with wisdom and intuitiveness and belief in higher ideals, peacefulness, creativity, and sensitivity. And I think that this makes sense because that is probably what I show most of. Another thing that I felt was very interesting is that she said the magenta and the crystal mixed together specifically were linked to adventure and travel and also that entrepreneurial spirit. And these are definitely things that are coming up for me in 2020. So anyway, I know that you could look at this and say, oh, anyone could think any of these things about themselves, but the arrangement of colors and what I've been feeling lately and what I have on tap for this year, it all kind of like makes sense to me. So just like getting tarot read or whatever, it's really about what it means to you. You go into the room and put your hands on this box and then they take this photo of you and all these epic colors come out. Some people get very different colors. Of course it has to do with body temperature and all kinds of things, but I am of the mind that all of that is holistic and it's all connected. So why not? Why couldn't we capture some essence of ourselves, our complex spirit this way? I'm into it. So anyway, that's what my reading was. I found it very enlightening and exciting. I felt very, very optimistic and excited about the fact that I have this much potential to express all the things that are in my mind and start expressing them out into the world and not keeping them inside. And trying to show a little more of my personality, I guess, and not be afraid of just having that not work out for me. So that's kind of a mental block I'm having lately. Look up this company, check out their Instagram. They have all these examples of even some rather famous people who've had their auras photographed, and do it. If you're in New York or LA, or find a local person who'll do it for you. It's really interesting stuff. This was also one of my goals for 2020 to get this done, so I'm really glad I started out the year this way. The entire experience was $45. You get a single copy of the photo, and in my opinion, it was so unique and special that it was definitely worth it. I hope this video helped to explain a bit about color aura photography and where the whole craze came from. And back to what I mentioned at the beginning, I don't think there's a person out there who wouldn't be at least a tiny bit curious to see what their aura looks like. And if you found this video interesting, definitely drop a comment below. Let me know if you've ever had your aura photographed or if you plan to. And of course, like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you'd like to know when I post new videos. Until next time, stay safe, be well, and I'll see you in the next one.